Welcome back to The Opposing View, the podcast where complex ideas meet structured debate. In each episode, two experts go head-to-head over today's most urgent and often overlooked questions. The format stays the same. 2 rounds, 2 voices, no shouting, just facts, logic, and strong opinions. This is the latest episode in our special series, Underrated Global Threats, the Black Swan series. We're exploring rare but real disruptions that could change everything, often before we're ready. Today's motion: Earth's magnetic field is about to flip, and we should be worried. It sounds like science fiction. But with the magnetic North Pole shifting faster than ever and field strength declining, some scientists suggest we may be heading for a geomagnetic reversal. Is this a harmless natural cycle, or a looming global threat to satellites, navigation, and the power grid? To explore this, you'll hear two opposing experts. One argues that a magnetic pole shift is overdue, and that we are vastly underestimating its potential fallout. The other insists that such shifts are normal, slow-moving events, and that fears of collapse are scientifically exaggerated. 2 rounds, one big question. And in the end, you decide. Tell us in the comments, which side persuaded you? Did this make you rethink your assumptions? Who won the debate? Let the conversation begin. Before we dive in, let me introduce today's two experts. First, Dr. Maxine Delmar, a geophysicist and risk analyst. She's written extensively on space weather, magnetic anomalies, and systems vulnerability. She argues in favor of the motion, that Earth's magnetic field is destabilizing and that the consequences of a pole reversal are dangerously underestimated. Opposing her is Professor Leon Everett, a planetary physicist and advisor to an Earth observation division. He believes the data show no imminent danger, and that public anxiety far outweighs the actual risk. He argues against the motion, insisting that geomagnetic reversals are natural, manageable, and historically survivable. Here's how the debate works. 2 rounds. Each speaker gets up to 2 minutes per round. Round 1. Opening statements, where each expert lays out their central argument. Round 2. Rebuttals, where each challenges the other's position directly. No noise, no filler, just structured conflict with clarity. In the end, there's no winner, unless you decide. So listen closely and tell us, are you Team Delmar or Team Everett? Did this episode confirm your beliefs or shake them? Let's begin with round 1, with Dr. Maxine Delmar arguing for the motion.
Thank you, John. Let's begin with the facts. Earth's magnetic field is weakening, fast. Over the past 150 years, field strength has dropped by nearly 10%, and by over 30% in the South Atlantic Anomaly, according to data from the European Space Agency, ESA, and NOAA. The magnetic North Pole, once stable, is now drifting towards Siberia at up to 60 kilometers per year. That's over 10 times faster than just a century ago. These are classic precursors of geomagnetic reversal, a full flip of Earth's magnetic poles. They've happened before, roughly every 200,000 to 300,000 years, The last one was 780,000 years ago, the Brunhes-Matuyama reversal. We are overdue. The problem: reversals don't happen overnight, but during the transition, the magnetic field can drop to 10% of its strength, exposing Earth to dangerous solar and cosmic radiation. Satellites, aviation, GPS, power grids, even migratory species, all depend on magnetic stability. A weakened field means more radiation hits Earth's surface. During the Le Champ event, 42,000 years ago, linked to a temporary pole flip, research suggests extreme climate shifts and mass extinction pressures. Even NASA warns that a declining magnetic field could compromise spacecraft safety and increase radiation exposure on high-altitude flights. Some argue it's a slow process, but slow doesn't mean harmless. The transition period, which may have already begun, could last centuries, but its disruptive effects would be real and global. To ignore this because it's not imminent is short-sighted. Like climate change, the early signals are subtle until they aren't. In short, a magnetic pole reversal may be underway. The risks, though rare, are credible, wide-ranging, and growing. And yet, we have no contingency plans, no public discourse, no global response strategy. This isn't science fiction, it's a slow-moving emergency hiding in the data.
Thank you, Dr. Delmar, for a thought-provoking case. A weakening field, pole drift, radiation risks, the possibility of a long-overdue geomagnetic reversal does raise complex questions. But how likely is this scenario? And are we perhaps confusing uncertainty with urgency? To challenge the motion, let's now turn to Professor Everett, who believes the science tells a very different story.
Thank you, John. Earth's magnetic field is dynamic, and yes, it's weakening in some regions. But a full magnetic pole reversal? That's a natural process that unfolds over thousands of years, not something that flips like a switch within decades. According to USGS and NASA, reversals are irregular and unpredictable, but the current weakening does not guarantee a reversal anytime soon. In fact, the magnetic field has weakened before without flipping. For example, during the Maya excursion approximately 41,000 years ago, the poles shifted position briefly but returned. No mass extinction, no collapse of ecosystems. As for the current shift, the South Atlantic Anomaly is well studied, and while it's relevant for satellite calibration, it does not present a major threat to life on Earth. Regarding solar radiation and electronics, yes, a weaker field increases radiation at high altitudes, but aviation and satellite industries already routinely manage these risks through shielding and orbital adjustments. Moreover, geomagnetic reversals have occurred at least 183 times in Earth's history, and no mass extinction has ever been conclusively linked to them. The Le Champ event, often cited as catastrophic, lasted only approximately 500 years, and most of its climatic and ecological interpretations remain highly speculative. In short, yes, Earth's magnetic field is changing, but the science does not support the claim that a reversal is imminent, let alone dangerous. Alarmist framing distracts from real, actionable space weather risks, like solar flares, and creates false urgency around a complex, natural phenomenon. The prudent path is continued monitoring and satellite hardening, not public panic.
Two compelling perspectives, grounded in science, but reading the signals in very different ways. We've heard the core arguments. Now it's time to go deeper. In round two, each speaker will respond directly to the other, challenging assumptions, sharpening distinctions, and testing the strength of opposing claims. Let the rebuttals begin.
Thank you, Professor Everett. I appreciate your measured tone, but I believe your argument underestimates both the data and the stakes. Yes, magnetic reversals take time. But what matters isn't when the poles fully flip, it's what happens during the transition. The ESA's Swarm Mission and NOAA data show that the rate of field weakening is accelerating, particularly in the South Atlantic Anomaly, where satellite systems are already degrading. It's true that the Lachamp event, 42,000 years ago, was brief, but recent research, notably the 2021 Adams event paper in Science, links it to increased atmospheric ionization, ozone loss, extreme climate volatility, and even cultural shifts. And yes, aviation and satellites have shielding, but those protections are designed for current space weather, not for decades of elevated cosmic and solar radiation during a protracted weakening phase. You also mentioned that past reversals weren't extinction level events. That's correct. But it's a straw man. No one is claiming an apocalypse. What we're arguing is that even moderate disruptions to magnetically sensitive systems, power grids, GPS, satellites, even animal navigation could have cascading global effects in a hyper-connected world. Most importantly, we have no predictive model for when a reversal starts or how long it lasts. The last full reversal, the Brunius-Matuyama event, took over 1,000 years. But magnetic excursions can happen much faster and have done so multiple times in the geologic record. The data doesn't say panic, but it does say pay attention, prepare, inform. To dismiss this as alarmism is to ignore the fact that our civilization is built on technologies never tested under these magnetic conditions.
A forceful response, highlighting transitional risks and technological fragility. Now, let's hear how Professor Everett responds to those concerns in his rebuttal.
Thank you, Dr. Delmar. I appreciate the passion. But let's separate what's known from what's theorized. Yes, the magnetic field is weakening, and yes, satellites in the South Atlantic Anomaly experience increased radiation. But this is well within operational parameters, and satellite design has already adapted accordingly. The 2021 Adams event study is interesting, but its claims about extinction pressures and climate impacts are still debated. Correlation is not causation, and many paleoclimatologists question whether the magnetic weakening was the primary driver. You say the transition is the risk. That's true, but transitions have occurred before, without collapse. And no peer-reviewed model suggests we're in an active reversal phase now. Field variations can happen without reversals. This is exactly what we've observed during other anomalies like the Blake and Maya excursions. As for GPS and infrastructure, these systems already account for magnetic drift and solar weather. Power grids are more vulnerable to solar storms, not gradual magnetic weakening. And we're investing in space weather monitoring, not because of pole flips, but because of solar activity cycles. The real danger here is not magnetic collapse, it's conceptual inflation. Taking a slow, natural process and recasting it as a looming emergency is neither helpful nor warranted by the evidence. A magnetic reversal may occur someday, but the current signals suggest variability, not catastrophe. We need vigilance, not dramatization.
That concludes today's debate. Is Earth's magnetic field about to flip, and should we worry? We heard two grounded perspectives. One warns that a convergence of data, from field weakening to cosmic exposure, demands greater public awareness and preparedness. The other urges caution against speculative interpretation, reminding us that nature's patterns often unfold over millennia, not news cycles. As always, the opposing view doesn't offer easy answers. We offer structured disagreement to sharpen your own thinking. Now it's your turn. Did one side shift your view? Are we underestimating a silent transition or overinterpreting noise in the field? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay critical, stay curious.